I start recording. Let's look at my stuff. Let's go to my Droid Cam. Okay, so like if there's anything you took from the video, I hope you understood there's two equations you're kind of expected to familiarize yourself with. So the first thing is slope-intercept. This is the thing like you're probably mumbling in your sleep. Y equals mx plus b, right? We have our slope here, m. We have an intercept that looks like 0, comma b, right? That's our y-intercept. The other thing there is an x and y. So we leave those things. Those are our variables. We want those generalized so that they represent the line, right? Same thing here at point slope. We have a point and we have a slope. We have a point that looks like x1, y1. And we have our slope m. The only other thing there is an x and y that we leave generalized so that it represents the line and all those numbers on the line. Okay. And I kind of mentioned it in the video. If we can go straight to this one's really nice, right? It gives us a lot of descriptions about the line that like are kind of more intuitive, I guess, than like more so than this thing. But it's not always pretty, right? Reality's not always pretty, so we don't always get that. So I want to go over like the first like 5 of them, just kind of as a class. I don't think they should take a whole lot of time, hopefully, if you understand what's happening with these equations. And so 155, just in general, just so we're all on the same page, sort of, all these problems pretty much ask for you to write things in slope-intercept form. And so we want to go to y equals mx plus b for everything within the homework and within the book. If it doesn't ask for slope-intercept form, you can technically give me any of those lines and they would be correct. And I said this in the notes, like as a math professor, we tend to prefer this one because there's like literally one way to write this, right? But there's literally an infinite number of ways that you could write this for the same line. And so we tend to like this one a lot better. And the book tends to like it because the book has a key in the back. And if you're making out a key, you don't want to put an infinite amount of answers in there, right? Not going to look too pretty. Take a couple years. So we're looking at these equations. And they're giving us a slope and a y-intercept. So which of those equations are you going to try to plug that into?
Slope-intercept.
No.
You can plug it into this one, but they want it in this form, right? Can we jump straight to this
So
form?
point slope.
Yeah, we can do that one.
Oh, standard form. I mean, or no?
Standard form is a little something different.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So we have slope-intercept and we have point-slope. And so if you can go to slope-intercept, typically if you can go to this, go to that one, right? So can we go straight to slope-intercept on this thing?
Yes.
Yes, because
I would say
yes.
yes.
We have a slope and we have a intercept.
Y-intercept.
And so if we want to plug this in, what does it look like? It looks like y equals
3x plus
3x.
3.
No, 3x plus 5.
Plus
Oh,
5.
fine,
There we
right.
go. So we should be able to jump and put that straight into y equals mx plus b. We're taking a slope, we're plugging it into m. We're taking that 5, we're plugging it into the spot of b. So if they give you a slope and an intercept, we can go to slope-intercept. Okay. Any questions on this one before I move on? Okay. So the next one is what? 161. If we have a slope of 0 and a y-intercept of a -1. So can we go to slope-intercept on this thing? Do we have slope and intercept?
Yeah, technically you can because 0.
Yeah. So we're going to go straight to slope-intercept. So 161. We're going to plug these into y equals mx plus b. So y equals, my m here is going to be what?
0.
0 And I have an x on there. And I'm going to do plus b. So this looks like plus.
Wouldn't it be -1 since it's a negative?
Yeah, you could do a -1. I'm going to do a plus and minus, I guess.
All right.
Yeah, I know.
It's all good.
It's the same thing. You could say -1 instead of saying plus minus. I'm just trying to throw it into this equation so that people can see it. And so 0x, I know I have it written there, but what do I really want to write?
0.
X.
Yeah, I don't really want to write that. So I'm just looking at this thing as the only thing that's really left, right? And this looks like y equals a -1. Does this make sense with what's being said? What is that?
That's a horizontal line on a graph.
Uh-huh.
What is it called?
Yeah, that's right.
What's it called again?
I don't know.
Y-intercept, I guess.
Yeah, that's your y-intercept of a -1. It looks like the line y equals a -1. It's that horizontal line. And the things we know about slopes, does that have 0 slope? Yeah, horizontal lines have 0 slope. So hopefully all these things are connecting. So, and maybe the other thing is they ask for it in slope-intercept form. Yeah, I know. Technically, that's slope-intercept form. It's there. You don't see the slope because it's 0, right? But it's there. It's there, but it's not there. It's there. Okay. Next thing. These guys. They want you to write these in slope-intercept form. I feel like we did this in the last section, but I could be wrong. Of course, we were already writing these things on the graph. I feel like this section introduced the equations. So these are probably a little bit hard to see. But they want things in slope-intercept form. Can you make slope-intercept form from this? I hope. If I want my slope, can y'all read those numbers on there, or is that too blurry?
Yeah, I can read them on my own paper, but pretty visible.
What is the slope on this thing?
It's going to be -5. I'm sorry, the slope. Well, wouldn't you want to find the y-intercept first so you know where to start, and then you can find your slope?
That's fine. If my y-intercept is what number?
Slope.
Go ahead.
Right. And then you can just. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm filling in things to the equation, right? Y equals mx plus b. So you're saying
Right.
I'm just going through as so that in place of the b, right?
Right.
So the other thing I need to know is my slope on this thing.
Well, you can just you can go from your y-intercept and just count your way to the next point, and I can tell you what your slope will be.
Yeah.
Or as a run.
So then I guess my question is still, what is your slope? Is it 1/3 or 3/1?
I got 3/1.
Yeah, dude, 3/1.
Also, Mr. Sievers, when we're writing out the equation for y equals mx plus b, I know that you mentioned that since it's a constant rate of change, we're not supposed to add the variable, but will we still add the variable?
You do in the equation. It's in the equation. It's not when you just talk about slope by itself.
Okay. Just making sure. Thank you.
So when we talk about slope, it's just the number. It's just the number, but when we write it in the equation, we absolutely throw in the variable. The variable's there in the equation.
Understood.
Yeah. This is what, 163? 165, 167, sorry. Probably not a lot more legible. But we should be able to go straight to y equals mx plus b.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
it's kind of
So
cutting in and out.
I'm going down 4 and over 3 on this thing, I think is what it's doing. So I'll draw the little triangles in there since the graph ain't the best thing. So if I want to do this in slope-intercept form, first thing I'm filling in is my slope. What is my slope going to be?
-4/3.
Yes, -4 over 3. And I have to put an x on this thing. And what is my y-intercept?
3.
+3 is what I'm doing.
Is it, Mr. Stevens, real quick, if we just wrote is it all right if we just put the negative sign like in between 4 and 3 instead of above the 4, or does it need, like I know it needs to be on the 4, but
Yeah. So whether you put it out in front, I kind of sloppily just put it there.
okay.
It could be out in front. It could be on top on the 4. Usually I write them out in front. I think I just wrote that kind of sloppy, to be honest.
No, that's okay. Let's make sure. This is the way I wrote it. I didn't know if I was wrong.
No, so those 3 things are all the same. Whether I put it on top, whether I put it out in front, or whether I put it on like the bottom, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully, like if you go look back at like how you figure out your slope, whether I go down and to the right or whether I go up and to the left,
Right.
it's the same thing, right? It's gonna give me a same sort of line. It's a line going down, right? Is what that negative indicates. What is that? 167. And I think there's one more, and then I think I'm gonna jump y'all into groups for like a few of these. Might be the beneficial thing. Oh man.
It's kind of a giveaway, this one.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't take you too terribly long. Or if it does, like I hope this is something you study and get down pretty quick. What is the equation of this line?
Y equals -2.
This is that 0 slope we're talking about, so we're not going to see the x variable. As a horizontal line, it should just look like a variable equals something. This is the y equals 1.
Is it okay if we just wrote like no slope, but we put the y-intercept in though?
What they just asked you for slope-intercept, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's what they're asking for. So if you put like y equals 0x minus 2, right? I would say, okay, like if you did that initially, like I probably wouldn't take off any points. If you keep doing this throughout the semester, like I'd probably like half a point off or something. Like I don't know, you're writing extra stuff that really shouldn't be there. Like in the beginning, I'm not gonna be too strict about that, but then like
Yeah, at some
if
point,
you're
it should
just
be
clouding up
grammar.
your page with stuff that's not supposed to be there, then at some point I think I might have to say something, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
But I just wrote no slope. Like,
I would not say no slope because there is a slope and the slope is 0.
oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
And this goes back to the fact that 0 is something. What is it? It's nothing, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it took them so long to figure that thing out.
And when the line is vertical, the slope is just undefined.
And it is
Yeah.
this is horizontal. Is that what you're asking, or are you asking about vertical?
No, when it's vertical.
That's a good question. I was about to ask that actually. So let's do a vertical one. And it's going through 5. So horizontal looks like y equals -2. If this is going through 5, what does this thing look like?
Like 5?
Huh? X equals, yeah.
5.
5, that's it. And so the vertical ones look like x equals. These slopes, right? These slopes over here are 0. These slopes are what we call undefined. Right. That's when we're like, if we were dividing and trying to figure out the slope, we would be dividing by 0 when we try to calculate the slope on this thing. So we get that dividing by 0 thing that's not very pretty. It's like breaks the first commandment of math. You also not divide by 0. So this we get 0 on top, which doesn't create a problem, right?
Right.
Yeah. The other thing that this is undefined, right? If I ask you to write it in slope-intercept form, that doesn't look very much like slope-intercept form, right? This looks a little bit more like slope-intercept form. This, I'm not sure how you're going to write this in slope-intercept form. It's going to be x equals a number. Okay. So the next 4 problems, I think, are very similar. And so I think if we break up into groups for a few minutes, that might be the best thing to do. So how many we got? 5. I do 4 rooms. Let's do 4 rooms. I think that'll do it. Okay. So I'm going to break off into rooms. Hopefully you have this somewhere pulled up. And we will work on these and come back together. And we're off. I didn't even look at. "20 minutes is what I got." I don't know. Oh, that's poop. Okay. Is anybody awake over here?
I'm just still kind of learning this stuff a little bit, so.
Okay. So we got 2 forms. So these, are you going to be able to plug them into slope-intercept? So what are they giving you? They're giving you a slope and a point. Are you going to be able to plug that directly into this thing?
No.
No. So what are we going to have to use?
Point slope.
Yeah, this thing. And so we have a point, we have a slope. So if you want, we see m equals 5/8. We see this thing 8,3. If you want, you can label this like x1, y1. And are y'all seeing what to do on this thing now?
Yes.
Okay. So then we have to plug it in. So it should look like what? Y minus. What am I plugging in?
3.
Y minus 3 equals 5/8. And then 8.
It should be x
Minus
minus. Yeah, no. So it's x minus and then the point. So it should be the other way around. what's the next step?
Add 3.
Yeah. Before you do that, what do you want to do?
Oh, do you distribute here too? Or
Yeah, so you want to do some distribution. So the first thing I see is what, 5/8 x.
Minus 5.
Yeah, that's it. That's dividing by 8. That's multiplying by 8. I should just give you the -5. And then now, say it. I know you want to say it.
Add 3.
Yeah, that's it. Y equals 5/8 x. And do -5 plus 3 gives what? -2, I believe. Sound fair, hopefully?
Yes. Sir.
Yeah. Are you seeing how it's getting there, hopefully? You think you can do 173 now? And probably the other two?
yes.
So do those 4 and we'll come back around and do them all together. And I'll figure out another room to go to. All right, see you around. Finish them off. Finish him. How's it going?
It's going good.
All right.
I tried to do the walkie-talkie thing and it didn't work.
All right, so I got, let's put my screen on here so I can see what I got. We have 2 equations. Have you ever gotten through 171 yet? Talked about it?
Yes, I finished 171.
Okay. So let's talk about it real quick then, I guess. So M is what, 5/8? So can we plug this in the slope intercept? Is the first question, I guess.
Yes.
No, because we don't have the y-intercept.
So it gives us, yeah, so it gives us a slope. It does not give us an intercept, right? So we cannot go to this one. So if we can't go straight to this one, guess what we're doing? The other thing that's there. So we're going to do y minus y1. And so I have what, 8, 3 is the point. So this is x1, y1. So if I want to do y minus y1, it should look like what? Y minus 3. And that should equal m, which is
5/8.
do what now?
5/8.
Yeah, 5/8. I didn't hear what you were saying there. So this is what, 5/8, and now I'm doing x minus x1, which is x minus 8. Okay. And so if they ask for an equation of a line, like this is technically would be good. But they ask for it in slope intercept form. So that's kind of like saying solve for y. We want to get y by itself on one side. So what's the first thing you see here that you probably want to do?
Distribute.
Distribute. So we're distributing this thing. So y minus 3 equals, this is going to be 5/8 times 1 is going to give me 5/8 x. And then what is this other number?
+5.
This is a negative and a positive. It should be overall negative, right? Minus, and we do divided by 8, multiply by 8, 5. Yeah, that's it. And one last thing, if we want to solve for y,
Add 3 to both sides.
add 3 to both sides. So y equals what? 5/8 x minus 2. Is that what you got? Hopefully. Something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Questions? Are we understanding maybe the sort of like approach that these problems are probably going to require? We're not going to be able to go to like straight to slope intercept, so we're going to have to plug into this thing. We're going to have to do some work and find out what our slope intercept is. Okay, so you all have what, three other problems there, right? So get started on those other 3 problems, and we will meet back in just a few minutes. I'm gonna bounce to some other room now. Room 1, room 3. Okay. I don't think I went here yet.
Okay, Emma, it's a mission of state, like it's your job.
Oh, well, I'm not sure. That's what I'm gonna talk to my recruiter about because I don't know much about stuff. Like all I know is it's gonna be the Army National Guard. So
Well, I'm just
yeah, I
let you
tried
know
doing
right
the
now.
PT this morning, and dude, I barely did like 13 laps, which is like 1.5 miles in 14 minutes. Even though I'm supposed to do 2 miles in 15 minutes.
Well, dude, like, listen, like when I got discharged, they're actually doing the ACFT now. So just make sure you tap on that, the Army Combat Physical Fitness Test. So make sure
Yeah,
you
I
like
mean,
just
PT.
Google that.
I mean, I'm fit, but like I told Miss Lisa, I kind of let myself go because quarantine is a bitch.
Well, I mean, because last time I checked, TRADOC wasn't really accepting new recruits, but I'm pretty sure they're going to put you in a program to where, you know, you get sterilized, and once you're done, they'll put you back into the shipment log. But I think Fort Benning is not taking anybody. Fort Jackson and Fort Leonard are definitely taking new recruits for basic. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. But hey,
anything
listen,
to
you
get
ever
this
do get to
college
National
money
Guard?
and anything. Yeah,
Say again?
yeah, National Guard.
I was gonna say, like, well, since you're gonna go National Guard, I wish you the best of luck on the forge. Okay, I really, really do, bro. Like,
I mean,
it's
I'm gonna
gonna
see
fuck
if I
you
can
up,
join
bro.
because they want my court stuff,
What's
so I
up,
won't be able
man?
to be an officer. Hopefully, they let me join.
Look,
But
hey,
I don't.
listen, dude. No one likes the lieutenants. Okay, like, dude, when you get there, you're gonna see how much the drill sergeants hate the lieutenants. Okay, because these first sergeants and drill sergeants, they're like what, 30 to 40 years old, and they're taking orders from 21-year-old lieutenants. Like, you're gonna see it, bro. Like, when you're gonna go for your rifle range, they're gonna push the lieutenants are gonna push you to do expert because you gotta shoot 27 out of 34 targets or 37 out of 40 targets, depending on how good you shoot. By the way, little tip: rely on your, so you won't recognize it now, but you're gonna use what's called a CCO. It's a laser dot that goes onto your M4A1. Make sure you knock it out of the ballpark with a CCO. Okay, when you use
I mean,
those don't matter.
I understand that. I mean, they mostly use carbine rifles like M4s, M16s, etc. Like M16 A4,
Well,
not like the old models like a 3 or a 2.
be sure not to mention that to them. The drill sergeant's like a trick, okay? They're going to ask you, like, if anybody has like any prior rifle training, say no, because they will use you as an example, and they're going to call you out on all your positions because there's a certain way you have to hold your weapon, and you're only using
Yeah.
one primary weapon, and that's your
So
M4A1.
basically, don't be a smart ass.
Yes, dude, keep your mouth shut, stay out of trouble.
Yeah, yeah. So
Go ahead.
yeah.
Hey. I was gonna let y'all know that like y'all are being recorded, so I don't know.
Oh, damn,
My bad.
bad. Yeah, just giving you a heads up there.
so sorry, Mr.
Hey, Mr.
Yes.
Pierce, I have a question about standard form.
Okay, so like I was gonna talk about this problem, right?
Yeah.
Are we getting this?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, it's
We
basically
finished
easy. So
171.
basically, the question, it basically gives you the y-intercept and the slope in certain questions, and all we have to do is just plot it into a graph on the certain quadrant, depending on what the numbers are. But I have a question about standard form. So I was watching the video. So when should it be a good excuse to use the standard form?
Oh, so standard form looks like the AX plus BY, right?
Yeah, AX plus BY equals C, I believe. Yeah.
When we do like elimination, when we do matrices, and when we do systems of equations, this will come into play more. But if we're talking about like drawing a line and graphing a line, like if you can pick off slope and a point from this thing, good luck. I don't know how to it's not like, it's not super obvious, readily available from like this form. Versus if we look at these forms, we can pick off a slope, we can pick off an intercept, right? We can pick off a point, we can pick off a slope from that thing. So graphically, these things help out a lot more than this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I ask you to graph from a standard equation, it's going to be a pain in the butt, like and a half, right? It's like, I wouldn't want to do it. I'm not going to ask y'all to do that. So what we're going to do, if it is in standard, we're going to do algebra to convert it to probably slope intercept,
Yeah.
right? And so 171, we have a slope, we have a point. So my first question is, can we put it into slope intercept? Can we jump straight to slope intercept?
Well, no, not yet, because we don't have the y-intercept. We have the slope intercept, but we can use A3 to plot a graph, and then we can keep using the slope intercept till across the y-axis. And then
That's using a graph. That's kind of, you can
well,
do that.
Well, that's the way I figured it out on. But is there an easier way?
Yeah. So we have a point and we have a slope.
Right.
Guess what we can use?
Y equals mx plus b. Slope intercept. I can't talk.
No,
Jesus
no.
Christ.
We got a point
Oh,
and
point
we
slope.
have a slope. We can use.
Point slope form.
Yeah. Sorry. So y minus my y1 is what here? I can
Y1?
I can look
Oh,
at my
yeah,
point as being x1, y1, right? So if
So
I'm looking at this 8, 3, I'm doing y minus
y minus 3,
y minus 3 is equal to, my m is
5/8,
5/8, and I'm doing x minus
8.
8. And so if we can do this, and we can do some algebra to get it to slope intercept.
Oh, I see it now. Well, so you just distribute 5/8 and then 5/8 into -8.
Uh-huh. So
I remember you touching on this in your video.
You what now?
I said I remember you touching up on this for a few
Oh, in the
problems.
video? Yeah. So 5/8 times x is 5/8 x. 5/8 times a minus 8 is going to be what?
I'll work that out.
3 over 1.
Carry the 1 equals 8. 40. Check to see if that's right. One second. Yes. I got 5.
That's it. We take 5, we divide by 8, multiply by 8. It's going to spit us back 5.
Right.
And then the one last thing we got to do here is what?
You got to add 3.
Yeah, add 3.
You should y equals
A one-step solution, basically, kind of.
So there we go. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
5/8 minus 2.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh wait, there's another way people do it too. I just thought about it. That might have been what you're talking about. Were you talking about taking I don't do it that way, so I don't really know about it that way. 5/8 x plus b. We can plug in our slope, and we know another point is what, 8 and 3.
Right.
I think you can also get it doing this thing, right? By plugging in that point. Is that what you're talking about? Or no?
No, not
Because that'll
really.
also get you a B, and I'll give you the same B, and you have to go plug it back in. It works.
Really? Yeah.
Should. You get -2 out of that. Yeah. And so we don't have much time, but there are 3 more problems. There's 2 more that are really similar.
Well, I have 173 and 177 down. I don't know if the other guys are finished though.
All right. Well, I'm going to cut off and go to another group.
Okay. All right, guys. So let's go get 173. I mean, if you guys want, you can use the point slope formula.
Yeah, the y.
Okay. So did we complete all these? 171, 173, 177, 181.
Yes.
We got like a minute left, I think, and then we're gonna end up bouncing back.
I had a question with 181.
Uh-huh.
So we went over that, and that one's like the horizontal one, so it would be like just y equals a -7, or
Yep, that's it.
how would that? Okay.
And if they ask for a vertical line, it would be what?
A -1.
Yeah, x equals, yeah. Don't forget your x equals. That's it.
-1. Oh, okay.
Yep. That's it. That's it. Yeah, that one should be like hopefully the quick one. These ones might take a little bit longer.
And so for 183, are we still using the same formula, the y minus y1?
Yeah, so we're still gonna use that formula, but they're not giving us what now?
The m?
Yeah, the slope. Yep.
The slope.
So we got to figure that thing out first. Okay, I think we're about to leave in a few seconds.
Yep.
About to get. Is everyone back? Looks like everyone's back.
I don't think I am able to join anybody else's room.
If you should be able to if you go to the breakout rooms.
I did, but the only one I got assigned to was with Michael and Elliot, and I couldn't go anywhere else.
Yeah, I saw like it did something. I don't know why.
I don't know either. Because it says I'm a co-host, but then it doesn't let me do anything co-host.
Because it should let you like move from room to room if you're co-host.
Yeah. Oh well. But I'd at least like to be able to go into other rooms. Anyway.
Let's see. So I think I'm gonna work through this one with most everyone. This is 171. And so we have a slope of what, 5/8. We have a point of 8,3. And so we're plugging things into this point slope, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I said it in the notes, like if this one, I think y'all know in your sleep, like you could wake up and mumble this, right? This one, I think more people have a like sort of problem remembering this thing. It looks very similar to the slope, just with like the denominator moved over, right? And so it looks very similar to that sort of thing. If that helps, good. If not, try to forget I just said it. I don't know what to tell you. Y minus y1 looks like y minus 3 equals m. X minus x1 looks like x minus 8. We did some distribution. We moved the 3 over. And so for 171, we should have got something like y equals 5/8 x minus 2. Questions? 173. Similar. Y minus y plus 5. And then we have what? Minus 3 x minus 2. We have to do some distribution here. So minus 3/5 x. And this should be plus. If we take 10, divide it by 5, that should give me what? 2. 2 times 3 should give me 6 here. And similar, we did some distribution. We have to move that 5 over. So I'm going to move that 5 over. We're going to subtract 5 from both sides. Should give me plus 1. questions about this guy? I think the next one is the same approach, right? 177. My slope is a -7. Point is -1, 3. So I know there is another way to sort of work these problems. So if you do work them in a different sort of way, that way, that's fine. Like, as long as you're doing valid math. So a lot of people will come up and they will see this. And let's do 173. They'll say what, -3/5. They will plug in slope, and then the other thing they do, they will plug in the point into the slope intercept. So if this is the way you work it out, this is also fine. It's just not the way that I typically go about it. So they'll plug in this and try to figure out what B is. -3/5 times 10. But you also get the same number. So this is -5. This will give you a -6 plus B. And when we add 6 to both sides, we get B = 1. So I'm not going to do that probably any more than that one time. But people do work things differently, and it is a valid way to work it. So I'm going to show you it, and now I'm going to hide it. Okay. Where were we at on this page? So we're back here. I think we were on, what, 177?
Yes.
And this looks like y minus y1, or y minus. I'm going to just jump to y plus 3. So I'm going to jump through those double negatives now. I'm hoping we're seeing enough of them. So y equals, my m is a -7. Now I'm doing what, x plus 1. This is y plus 3. This side should look like what? Someone give me this.
It should look, oh, you can go.
-7x minus 7.
Yes, do some distribution. That's good. And then the last thing, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides, -7x. And this is going to be what, -10 now? And other questions on these? So we've essentially gone through like the two formulas, right? We can put things into slope intercept if they give us a slope and an intercept. If they give us a graph, we can put things in the slope intercept. Now they're giving us a slope and a point. Can we put it into point slope? And so it may be an annoying point to like repeat, but like if they give you a slope and an intercept, you can put it into slope intercept, right? If they give you a point and a slope, you can put it into point slope. So they're like really annoyingly sort of named for the things you need to be able to plug into them, right? Okay. And then the last one here is 181. If I want a horizontal line containing what, -1, -7, what does that look like? 177.
Y equals whatever the number is.
Yeah, y equals whatever the number is. The number was -7. That's the best way to describe it. So if they want a horizontal line, the slope is that 0 thing. It looks like y equals a -7. If they want a vertical line, what does that look like?
X equals -7.
Ooh, x equals what number?
For 180y, if it was a vertical,
Yeah, it would be x equals
-7.
no.
No?
Y is the -7. X is the.
My bad. Yeah, there was an X value in the parentheses.
It's probably hard to read on this thing too, right?
Well, I have the paper in front of me, but yeah. You were pointing at the 7, and I thought you were talking about the 7, so I was like, oh, so X.
Yeah, so this is my X value, this
value.
is my Y value. So if they give us a horizontal line, it looks like Y equals -7. If it's a vertical, it should be X equals a -1. Okay. So those, I don't know, it's like one of those 50-50 shots, right? It's like really easy to mess up or it's really easy to get right, depending on how you look at it. Okay. So we got like 4 more. I want to break off into groups again and try to do these 4 and see if I can fix Miss Watson going somewhere, recreate with 4 rooms. I should be able to move her around maybe. I don't know. Let's start this, and I want to do the next 4. They are really similar, and let's go. So do you have the breakout room like option on the bottom of your screen? You're on mute. It does an automatic mute.
I do. Now I can. Now I do. I did not before though.
And it has like an option to join different rooms. Is that what it has? Okay. I'm going to jump to room 1 then, and then we can jump around. Okay. How are these different?
One gives you slope, one gives you y slope, one gives you x1 and y1 and a slope.
Oh yeah, so these ones give you a slope and a point, right? These ones give you 2 points. So we definitely have a point. What do we not have?
Y-intercept, I believe, or yeah.
We don't have our slope.
So we don't have a slope. So if we don't have a slope, and we definitely need a slope to plug it into either one of these, what's the first thing you think we're probably going to have to find?
The slope.
Oh, yeah, that's a good guess. Find the thing you don't have. So how does our slope look? M is what minus what over what minus what?
Y2 minus Y1, and then X2 minus X1.
Uh-huh. And if I fill in numbers, what does that look like?
3 minus 6, and then on the bottom, 5 minus 2. Which
Yeah, that's it.
Negative 3, negative, oh no, negative 3 over 3, which is negative 1.
And that's what, minus 1?
Y minus.
So you have a slope of a minus 1, and you have 2 points.
So will we use just the first, like the 2 and 6, or?
Yeah, so you can actually use either one, right?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So if we do what y minus y1 give me 6 equals minus 1 is my slope. I can do x minus 2. I can do, whoa, y'all can't see that. Okay, there we go. I can plug in that one, or I can plug in the other one, which is it shouldn't matter which point I plug in. Whether you solve one or the other, like it should solve out to the same thing for slope intercept. So let's do this on our quick. And now instead of minus 5, I believe that's plus 5. And then we're going to add 3.
Oh, okay. So it just comes out to the same.
it should come out to the same thing. It should come out to minus x plus 8. You should get the same thing if you solve it this way, right? We're going to add 2 and then add 6 should give you 8.
So should we do both of them? Should we just do one? And
It should give you the same thing either way. If you want to check your answer, you can do both. If you just need a solution, all you really need to do is one of them.
oh, okay.
Like, it's good to check, maybe. I don't know. But it's not required, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, well, I'll do both.
Yeah. So same strategy, right? Where it's the same thing as the last 4 problems, except now we're finding a slope on top of it to do first. All right, I'm gonna jump to another room now, I think. Do y'all think y'all can do this other 3, hopefully? Who's that? Leslie was answering me?
Yes.
I think you've got it down, huh? Oh, she's in there. Let me jump to 3, I think. All right.
Anybody else here?
No, I'm not here.
Okay, Mr. Severs. No, we just completed 191 and 193, but Gabby had to go do something real quick.
Which one?
Oh, we did 191 and 193 real quick.
191 and 193. Okay.
Yeah, those are the ones I wanted to do real quick, and then we were going to tackle 183 and 187, but Gabby had to go do something real quick. Said she'll be right back.
Okay. So in the previous ones, they gave us a point and a slope.
Right.
Right? And we could put it in point slope. Here, what don't we have?
Have x. No, we have the x value, but we don't have the slope intercept. We only have x and y values.
Yes, we have points. So we have x and y values. So we have points.
Right.
So what are we missing to put it into the formula? So we have this part.
Right.
We need that part, right?
Yeah, the slope.
So we don't have a slope. And for either of these, we need a slope to put it into one of these formulas.
Right.
So if you don't have a slope, guess what the first thing you should probably find is? Find the slope.
Well, yeah, the slope. I drew a graph for that one.
Oh. Graph drawing. You don't want to draw a graph for every problem. Okay.
Oh, crap. I forgot about that formula. Dang it.
Yeah, slope formula.
Damn. Missed that one. Yeah, shame on me. I missed that one.
And then after we find a slope, we have a slope and we have a point. We can go back to like what we were doing.
Right.
But we got to find a slope first. So let's find our slope. If I'm plugging in numbers, what does the top look like?
We're looking at 3 minus negative. No, you did 3 minus 6. My bad. And below on bottom, we're going to have 5 minus 2.
Uh-huh. 3 minus 6 will be
minus
3. So you get 3.
Negative 1.
Yeah, so we got -1 slope.
So y equals -1. 0, -1. So we still use the same values for the point slope formula. We just put in the -1, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so we're doing y minus y1. So my y1 is going to be
6.
6. Yeah, so y minus 6 equals my m, you said, is a -1, and I'm doing x minus
2.
Yeah. So if you do 6, you better do 2. You can actually use this other point if you want as well. Either one should work.
Okay.
It should give you the same number when you solve it. So this is the same thing we were doing last time. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time, but you know, it's the same steps. We plug it into point slope. We do some distribution with this minus x plus 2. And then we add the 6 over y equals minus x, what, plus 8?
Plus 8, that's what I got.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
Are we allowed to put a 1 in front of the variable, or?
Yeah.
mean, because like every time I write it out, I always put up a 1 and then I leave it that way. But I keep forgetting. Like, are we allowed to leave the 1 there, or does it have to be just?
Yeah, it's okay. You're not gonna see it if the book writes it though. Like if they write it, they're gonna clean it up without writing the 1.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna count off any points because you realize what's happening there. You know, it's not like
Yeah.
you don't
It's not
realize.
gonna hurt anybody. Well, it's not gonna hurt the answer, really.
Yeah, it says the same thing, and it really is there. We just don't typically write it just out of convention, more so than anything. You know.
Right.
It's not like logically inconsistent or mathematically wrong. You know, like.
Either way, it means the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so when August gets back, you got to explain this to her, I guess.
Understood.
All right.
Wait, was August in the group before or after you came in?
She back. Gabriel.
Yeah, I was listening.
Oh, okay. Real quick, August, were you in this? Oh crap! Yeah, it's happening to her. Listen, August, if you have to, I had the same problem. You don't exactly have to log off, but go to your desktop and adjust the volume because we can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah.
Muted.
She's typing in the chat.
Yeah. The same thing happened to me. I couldn't figure out. I thought it was my microphone. Turns out my microphone was on mute. I don't know why, but it was.
Oh, when we break off into groups, it puts your microphone on mute automatically. So yeah, heads up on that one.
Yeah. Well, August, if you can hear us through the chat, you have any questions on 187, 191, and 193? I already went over 191 and 193 with Gabby here, but do you have any questions on any of those?
But her mic isn't muted. It should be coming up.
Says no, I am good, thank you. I think, yeah, it probably might be her desktop, maybe. Like I know we have a storm going on, so that may be affecting it. But if she says no, then I guess we're good. Go ahead and get on 187.
Yeah, okay.
It isn't working.
I'm gonna find another room to bug.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Sievers. All right.
We're getting this.
Yes.
I went through this one with y'all already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that 183?
That was what, 183? Did y'all get these other three?
Well,
You're still working on them.
I'm on 181.
You're on which one?
191.
191? Okay.
But I had a question. So if it's -4 over 0, how would that be? Would it be a 0 or just -4?
Oh. I didn't realize they did that to y'all. Sorry. So they're doing 7, 2, and 7 minus 2. And if we do this, look, we're doing like -2, -2. 7. So the thing I always think about is pizza to people. And let's go -4 over 0. The other thing would be 0 over 4, right? Question, I think. And so this is probably an easier thing to ask. If there is no pizza and we have to divide that pizza between 4 people, how many slices is each person going to get?
0.
Yeah, so this one is the 0. If we have 0, we can divide 0 by any number. Everyone's getting nothing, right? The other way around, if we have, like, okay, maybe it's negative, that's weird. But if we had 4 pizzas and we had no people, how much pizza is each person going to get? If someone asked you that question out loud, like I hope you would just like slap them or something. I don't know. Like it doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
It's like there are no people, so how can a person get a pizza if there's no people? Like your question doesn't even make sense. This is the thing that's undefined.
Okay.
And so this is sort of like that infinite slope. And so they're asking for it in slope-intercept form. We can't actually give this thing in slope-intercept form. But it does look like a line. It looks like not a y equals line, but it looks like the other one. So you might notice your x value is always the same, right?
Mhm.
And so this looks like that x equals 7 line. So this is kind of weird.
Oh, okay. So we'll just do that with x equals 7.
Yeah, and if you plot these points, right, it
Mhm.
might look a little better. You're going to see 2 points that are one above the other.
Okay.
It's that vertical line.
Is 193 gonna be the same too then?
No,
No?
not exactly the same. But you might notice, what about the values?
Because when I was trying to find out that they're the same.
Yeah, so the y values are the same there. And so this looks like an x equals line. This one's going to look like a... It is similar, but not exactly. Because this is x equals, this is going to be
The y.
y equals minus 4. Okay.
So that would just be y. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think I'm going to end these groups. I think... Let me go see what Miss Watson's doing. She was worse than 3. Yeah, I think I'm going to close these groups and go back. Because those two are a little weird. And I think y'all got hopefully some good practice at least. Okay. Bring up the screen. Okay, so I know I went through probably at least one of them, at least one time with every group. And so what is the main difference between like this and the previous set of problems? So on these, we're still going to the point slope. That's the thing. 1 minus y1 equals x minus x1. We're still using this formula. But like the problem with going to this formula is we don't have what this time around?
You don't have
Our
slopes.
slope.
Yeah, we don't have slope. And
Formula.
so I did this one already for all of y'all, so I'm just going to throw it up there. My slope formula looks like this. I can grab a point. I can throw that point in there. I can find the slope from that point. So I think everyone got a -1 slope. I can plug in the point 2, 6, and I can plug in the slope -1. And I can take a sip of coffee.
Cheers.
I don't usually talk this much. I don't know. It's like, but then you get up in front of a class and I feel like I never shut up. Y'all probably feel the same way, but like, I wouldn't blame you. Okay, so anyway, I really like to hear y'all talk. To be honest, I like to hear what y'all know. Y minus 6 equals a -1. We do some distribution. Bada bing. We add that 6 over. Bada boom. There you go. Big whoop. I'm just going to teach you everything like that from now on, I think. Here we go. You're like, no, don't do that. So, questions about this thing?
Nope.
Okay. I think we got that one down at least. At least if I give you that exact problem, you can do that exact problem on an exam, right? What about these other things? Same approach. So I'm hoping if you don't have a slope, the first thing you start off with is slope. We say y2 minus y1 minus 7 minus 3. This is minus 6 minus a minus 1. I'm going to jump to what, plus 1? Ooh, excuse me. Minus 10 over minus 6. Plus 1 is what? Minus 5. I believe the slope here is 2.
And then you put it into the slope for the point slope formula.
Yes, the point slope, like y minus. And I probably mentioned this. Which point am I picking?
The first one in the parentheses, so it would be y minus 3.
Yeah, you can do that. You can pick either one, right? If I want to do this one, I could do this one. If I want to do this one, I can do this one. There are both points on the line. I know you labeled this one probably x1, y1, x2, y2. But technically, you could have labeled them the other way. There's nothing that prevented you. As long as you keep your x1 with your y1 and your x2 with your y2, it's saying the same thing.
Awesome.
So you can do that. I'm going to do the thing you just said and probably not do any of that. So anyway, y minus 3 equals 2 times x
Minus
1, x plus 1.
Then you distribute.
Again, just in distribution, minus 3 equals 2x plus 2. And got to add that thing over. So hopefully you're noticing some of these steps start repeating, right?
Right.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah, let's go through this. That's 187, 191. 191, I don't know. Back of the book and what they wrote. They asked for these in slope intercept form. And so the first one, you're probably
Mr. Sievers, you're cutting out mic again.
okay. So we're finding the slope. The first thing we're going to do is find the slope. Minus 4. We're going to do 7 minus 7 is 0. What do you notice about this slope?
Well, they both have the same x value, so wouldn't it just be like the same vertical line?
It is a vertical line, exactly what this is. This is an undefined slope. I said this, but the way I remember this thing is the people. So if I have 4 pizzas and 0 people, or people. I think this one is probably the one that's more straightforward. If I have no pizza and 4 people, guess how much pizza each person is going to get?
0.
They are getting no pizza. So this is a valid thing to ask, right? Like, I have no pizza, I have 4 people, everyone's getting no pizza. If I have 4 pizzas and I have no people, how much pizza is each person going to get? If someone in real life came up to you and asked you that answer and you didn't slap them, I would give you money for it probably, because that is like one of the weirdest questions out there, right? You just told me there's no people. How can a person have a pizza if there's no people, right? Like this is really weird. Don't ask that.
That's a waste.
Yeah, it is.
This is the thing that's undefined. It's a really weird question if I ask it, right?
Mr. Sievers, real quick. I know you did the whole slope intercept or the slope formula. If we just look at the x values and just roll like x equals 7, m equals undefined, will you take points off because there's really no work, or do we have to write out the formula and show that there is no slope?
This one, if you recognize they were both the same x value and you just jump to x equals 7, like I would be happy you did that, to be honest. Like that would be sufficient work for me. You know what you're talking about. Good job for you. If you had to do this to show yourself that it was an undefined slope, that's good too. It shows that you know what you're doing.
Excellent.
191, 193. think it's 0. Right. And so we get minus 4 plus 4. 5 minus 3. I'm getting 0. And so hopefully you notice the y values are both the same. It looks sort of analogous, but we have a 0 slope and we have a y equals line with this one. So 191 was the undefined slope. That was the x equals line. 193 was the 0 slope. And now we got 5 more. Is it 2 more here and 3 more there? I think something like that.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3. We got 5 more.
Yeah, so we got 2 that are parallel and we got 3 that are perpendicular. So these, they're asking us to find a line that is parallel to this and it is going through this point. Okay. So I'm going to go N1 and 2, I think. If I want the slope of this line, what is the slope of this line?
It's the same thing.
It's, yeah, so the slope of this line is 4. We're getting that from this, right?
Right.
And if it's a parallel line, we know the slopes are, and I think this is what Michael was saying, we know the slopes are the same. And so I know my slope is 4. I know my point is 4. So I have a slope and I have a point. Guess what I can put it into?
Point slope form.
Point slope form. The point slope form looks like y minus 2 equals 4 times x minus 1. I went into point slope form. I'm going to do some distribution and I'm going to do some adding. So let's do that right quick. X minus 4. Add 2 to both sides. 1 x. So if they give me a line and it's in y equals mx plus b form, it's in a really pretty form. I can do this thing where I, excuse me, pick the slope off of it, and it's just going to be the same slope since it's parallel. So parallels have the same slope. You know that parallel lines have the same slope? And so, that's that one. If I want to do 197, I have 2x minus y equals 6 for the line. So if I try to pick the slope off of this thing, how am I going to do that?
Yes, solve for y.
Yeah, so if you try to pick a slope off of this standard form, I don't know, good luck on that. That's not going to be too pretty. I need to do some solving on this thing first to figure out what my slope is. So I want to figure this thing out. I'm going to subtract 2x. And so we have done some solving for y before, so you should know how to solve for y. So this is like a minus 1 over y, so everything has to get multiplied by a negative. This becomes positive, this thing has to become negative. And I've done all this work, and I did all this work to find a line that is parallel to this. So I want to pick off my slope. So the slope of this thing is
2 over 1.
2 over 1. And if the slope of that thing is 2 over 1, the slope of my parallel line is going to be
2 over 1.
2 over 1. Or just 2, right? You can write
Yeah.
2. And the point that they gave me was 3. Now, I guess I could ask it. Can I jump right to y equals mx plus b? You got to be careful on this one. No, they're giving you an x-intercept, not a y-intercept. But it shouldn't be too difficult. One of the numbers is 0, so we're doing y minus 0 equals 2 times x minus 3. Are we all together, hopefully? Trying to do it.
Either way, it equals the same.
Yeah. Y minus 0, we can clean that up to y right quick. We can do a little bit of distribution. Like 6. Wait, did I do that?
Yeah, I was working on this one and I was curious because I plugged it into Desmos after I got my answer.
It's the same
And they're
line,
the same line.
Yeah, what did they do that for?
What's the term that we use for that?
If it's the same line,
Yeah, there was some term that they were using. I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
Similar something.
They coincide.
They
Maybe.
coincide. Yeah, maybe that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize they gave you the same line. That's silly. Usually this thing will be different, right? Usually your y-intercept will be different. Not always. I guess it could be the same.
I mean, I guess technically they're parallel. They're just on the same point. I don't know. It was a weird one.
Yeah, well, usually the way they define parallel is they don't intersect, and if it's the same line, then they intersect everywhere. You know, it's
That's
like
true.
Yeah, it's not the best example, but it can happen.
That's not a good example because really when they define parallel, the slopes are the same, but the y-intercepts are different. Otherwise, they're the same line.
Yeah, there's some third term that they use. So that's parallel, perpendicular, and
Or
then
neither.
or neither, and
Neither.
then there's a fourth one, which is where it's the same line, and I cannot remember the word that they use.
They coincide.
Coincide, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now we get the perpendiculars. It is like time to go, so if you gotta go, I guess you can go. But we are about to talk about the last thing on the list. So if you want to stick around and figure out the last thing, this might be a good time to do it, right? So, -2 there.
And I will post all these answers too on there. So
They give us in slope intercept. We can pick off the slope right away from that thing. If I want a perpendicular slope, and you can say this is -2/1 if that helps you. There's two things I have to do, and there's a really horrible way I know to memorize that. Oh man. Do y'all remember the two things you have to do?
Flip and reverse the signs, right?
Yep. This thing has to be positive over here. Yep, absolutely. I don't know if I made the reference, but like I know like right when I was learning this in like middle school, high school, like Missy Elliott came out with Work It. You have to flip it and reverse it. Sorry. But yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So if you need to remember how to do perpendicular slopes, there's two things. You have to flip it and reverse the sign, right? So you can thank Missy Elliott for that one. So we have a point, we have our slope. Guess where we can go? We can go to point slope. So we have a slope of 1/2. We have the point 2, 2. I plug it in, I distribute, and I add things. 1/2 x is 1/2 x. -2 times 1/2 is a -1. I add the 2 over. This is what y is 1/2 x plus 1. Okay. Does that look correct from what we know? This looks like a -2 with the slope. This looks like 1/2 with the slope. Those are perpendicular slopes. So maybe checking your slope in the end is one way to check it. If we plug 2 into here and we plug 2 into here, does it make a true statement? You can also check that as well, right? Plug 2 and 2. It should. Okay, 207. So we have this line, 2x minus 3y equals 8. We want something perpendicular to it. So if we want something perpendicular, that's telling us something about the slope. So we want to be able to get the slope from this thing. So what's the first thing we should probably do?
Solve for y.
Solve for y. So we want to solve for y minus 3y. We're going to have to subtract 2x to the other side. So that's minus 2x. The 8's still positive. I want to solve for y. The next thing I have to do is
Subtract 3. Then divide the 3.
divide by, yeah, and make sure you grab that negative. So we're dividing everything by a negative 3. This is a negative over negative. This is just a positive 2/3. This is a minus 8/3. Just keep it there, I guess. So I did all this work. And why did I do all this work again?
Find the y.
Because I'm crazy? No. Because I'm trying to find the slope here. Well, probably, but also I'm trying to find the slope here. M is 2/3. And the problem asks for something perpendicular. So if this is 2/3, my perpendicular slope looks like
-3/2?
yeah, 3/2, and I throw a negative in there. Yep. And what was the point 4 minus 1? Just so we have it all like right kind of here. Yeah, and so now I'm throwing this. I have a point, I have a slope. Guess where I can throw this thing?
Your slope.
Point slope. So y minus y1 looks like y plus 1 equals m, which is what, minus 3/2. And we're doing what, x minus 4. Same steps we've been doing. Y plus 1 equals, we can do some distribution, minus 3/2 x. Negative and negative, this should be positive overall. 4 divided by 2 is going to give me 2. 2 times 3, I think, right?
The receivers?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. As you were.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay. Plugging stuff in. Doing some distribution. Subtracting 1, I think, is the next thing we do. Y equals minus 3/2 x plus 6 minus 1 plus 5, I believe is what this should give you. And we got one last one.
Left. Make it count.
Are we getting this stuff down, hopefully?
Mm.
Perpendicular slope. I feel like y'all know how to do parallel slopes so well. If I gave y'all a parallel slope one, I swear like most of y'all get that. But I don't know, perpendicular slopes, it's like we gotta do two things now. I don't know. This one looks very similar. It looks almost like the one we just did. They give us a line. It is in like some weird standard form that we don't know nothing about how to graph. This is not a pretty way to graph things, right? And I think I said that in some of the groups. But like this is called standard form. It's no bueno for graphing. So we want to do what with this thing?
Y.
Solve for y. Absolutely. 5y equals a minus 2x plus 6. we subtract the 2x over, we divide by. That's fine. We did all this work
I got the slope.
to get the slope. My first slope is a minus 2. My second slope is the line perpendicular.
5 over 2.
Is
Positive.
Positive. Make sure it's positive. I want to do 0, 0, right? Is what I'm going through.
Yeah. Won't it just equal y equals x if the points are just 0? If we plug it into the point slope formula.
Let's do it. So y minus 0 equals, I'm doing 5 halves, and I'm doing x minus 0. So yeah, I guess I could have went straight to y equals mx plus b with this one, right?
Right.
Plus 0, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
You could say plus 0 if you want. You don't really need the plus 0 there. You could just write y equals 5 halves stack. That's the last thing. There we go. Didn't go too far over, I don't think. 10 minutes. Not too bad. I feel like y'all talked about military stuff for at least like 3 minutes there, right?
Sadly, yeah. Just give them a few tips.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I mean, I'm the instructor, so I have to try to keep you on topic a little bit. But I mean, I understand.
You're right.
I mean, it's good. It's good to like get to know the people that are in your class and get to know what they're going through. Though it's a good bonding experience for sure. I'm not trying to knock what y'all are doing.
It's all good. Work comes first.
Camaraderie is definitely a good thing, and it definitely helps you get through the class. So I'm not trying to come down on you for that, but like I do have to keep things, on top.
No. Do what you gotta do.
No fun allowed, right?
No. Sadly, but no. Time and place. You guys want to talk? You gotta do it before class, not during.
No, I don't mind doing it in class, but like, do get your work done first that we gotta get done.
Right. All right.
That's it. I guess I'm gonna end the recording. If y'all got questions, y'all can stick around.